Two men walk into the same job interview. Same resume, same answers, same qualifications word for word. One of them gets the job, the other does not. The only difference between them was their face. This is not an exaggeration. This is one of the most well-documented biases in the history of psychology, and it is quietly running in the background of nearly every judgment you make about other people, whether you realize it or not. You assume attractive people are also smarter, kinder, more trustworthy, and more competent. Not because you were shallow, not because you decided to think that way. Because something far older than your conscious mind is making that call before you even finish looking at someone's face. This is called the halo effect. And once you understand it, you will start noticing it everywhere. Psychologist Edward Thorndike first identified this pattern back in 1920 while studying how military officers rated their soldiers. He noticed something strange. Officers who rated a soldier as physically impressive also tended to rate that same soldier as more intelligent, more disciplined, and a better leader, even when there was no actual evidence for any of those traits. One positive impression was bleeding into every other judgment, like a halo of goodness radiating outward from a single trait. Decades later, researchers Karen Dion, Ellen Berscheid, and Elaine Hatfield ran a now famous study where participants were shown photographs of people they had never met and asked to guess their personalities based on appearance alone. The results were strikingly consistent. People rated as more physically attractive were assumed to be happier, more successful, more sociable, and even destined for better marriages, all based on nothing but a photograph. Here is what should genuinely surprise you. This is not a modern bias created by social media or advertising. This pattern shows up across wildly different cultures, time periods, and even in research with young children who already show preference for attractive faces before they are old enough to have learned any cultural standard of beauty. Something deeper is happening here.
To understand why, you need to go back further than fashion magazines or filtered photos. You need to go back to a time when judging a person's appearance was not vanity, it was survival information. For most of human history, you did not have access to someone's resume, their references, or their criminal record. When you encountered a stranger, you had seconds to decide one thing. Is this person safe, healthy, and worth trusting with my resources, my alliance, or my offspring? Symmetrical features, clear skin, and a healthy body were not arbitrary preferences. They were honest signals. A face free of visible illness, parasites, or injury often meant a stronger immune system and better genetic health. Researchers studying facial symmetry have found that humans across nearly every culture studied rate more symmetrical faces as more attractive, and this preference appears to be linked to genuine indicators of developmental health and resistance to disease. In other words, your ancestors who paid attention to these signals and trusted healthier-looking allies, healthier-looking mates, and healthier-looking leaders had a real survival advantage over those who ignored these cues entirely.
But evolution built something dangerously efficient here, not something perfectly accurate. Your brain did not evolve a separate system for judging health, a separate system for judging intelligence, and a separate system for judging trustworthiness. It built one fast, simple shortcut. If the face looks good, assume everything else is good too. This shortcut worked well enough, often enough, in small tribal groups where you actually got to know people over time and could correct your first impression. The problem is that the modern world almost never gives you that correction. You meet a stranger once, form an instant impression, and that single judgment can determine an entire outcome, whether it is a hiring decision, a jury verdict, or a swipe on a dating app. Researchers have found this bias bleeding into areas you would never expect. Studies on the legal system have shown that defendants who are rated as more attractive tend to receive lighter sentences than those rated as less attractive for the exact same crimes with the exact same evidence presented. Teachers shown identical report cards with a photo attached have rated more attractive students as more intelligent and more likely to succeed academically. Voters consistently rate more attractive political candidates as more competent leaders, despite competence having nothing to do with facial symmetry.
This is the part that should genuinely unsettle you. You are not immune to this just because you know about it. Psychologists call this the bias blind spot. You can understand exactly how the halo effect works, recognize it clearly in other people's judgments, and still feel your own gut instinct shift the moment you meet someone with a symmetrical face and a warm smile. Awareness reduces the bias. It does not delete it. So what do you do with this information? The next time you find yourself instantly trusting someone, or instantly assuming someone is more capable simply because they are attractive, pause and ask yourself a different question. What is the actual evidence for this judgment? Not the feeling, the evidence. This single habit, separating the feeling of trust from the proof of trustworthiness, is one of the most effective ways researchers have found to counteract the halo effect in real decisions, from hiring panels to jury selection processes that now deliberately limit how much physical appearance can influence early-stage evaluations. Your ancestors needed a fast shortcut to survive in a world with no time for careful analysis. You are living in a world that demands the opposite. Careful analysis is now the advantage. Speed is now the trap.
The two men in that job interview were never actually different in skill. They were only ever different in how quickly their faces convinced someone of something that was never actually true.